Welcome to the Money Pickle Podcast, where you can listen and learn about money without falling asleep. And if you need a better understanding of your financial situation, or maybe you just want a second opinion, head to moneypickle.com, where you can schedule a free 45-minute virtual appointment with one of our experienced professionals. And with that said, let's dive into the episode. Going off of last week's effort,
I beat you.
It was a 2-stroke difference.
I beat you.
You're not good.
I wanted to keep it close, but my distance was still there.
I've golfed 10 times in my life.
Oh, I know. I can tell.
And I only lost by 2 strokes.
Yeah, dude, I'm just warming up. I got a lot of rust.
So am I. I've golfed the same amount of times as you.
No.
Well, Cameron, thank you for having us on today's episode. It's my first appearance. Usually I'm behind the camera. But Nick, you've been on an episode before, and Cam, you're obviously the moderator and host. So I just want to say thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting to finally get you on a podcast. And Nick, this is your second podcast.
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted to have you guys on today to kind of just go over about what Money Pickle is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are relatively curious. You know, what message does Money Pickle portray? Like,
Yep.
what do you guys want to accomplish?
Yeah, we'd love to dive into it and kind of share how we came up with the idea and kind of just the journey we've been on so far.
Going off of that, what year was it? What day was it? Like, where this Money Pickle first popped into your head? Like, I mean, it probably wasn't Money Pickle to begin with. I'm sure there was other ideas, but
Money Bean.
Money Bean.
Yeah, no, the coming up with the name was actually one of the hardest parts in the first week of the birth of Money Pickle. But yeah, it was almost 2 years ago, the summer of 2021.
Yep.
Nick and I had just graduated college and began working our careers, both in the financial industry.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout college, that's where Nick and I met each other. We always spoke about starting something ourselves. We really loved being entrepreneurs, and I minored in entrepreneurship. And I think so did Nick.
I did as well.
And so we always just had these conversations together. And, a whole bunch of ideas were always spoken about, but we never had the one that we wanted to pursue. That was until about a couple of months after we graduated. I was working as a project manager, and Nick, you were out in Chicago.
Yep. I was in commercial real estate, healthcare, commercial real estate specifically.
Yeah. And I was a project manager at a financial advising firm, and I was encouraged to just ask a lot of questions and kind of expand the financial advising firm and anywhere I could help.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just kept seeing the same sorts of people come in, receive financial advice, and I myself had a bunch of questions regarding my finances, had just graduated college, not really knowing where to even begin with setting up my finances. I had a bunch of questions. I know a lot of my friends did too. Luckily for me, I was able to ask my coworkers that I was working around. They were financial advisors. And I felt really lucky, and I felt like I was on the right path. And I knew that a lot of my friends, and I knew a lot of other people too, just didn't have that resource that I did. So that's kind of where Money Pickle started, is how can we help a whole bunch of people receive financial education like I was receiving.
Yeah.
So I brought the idea to Nick and our other third co-founder, Colin, who's not here today. But I brought it to them too because I knew that, they were entrepreneurs just like me, had the same heart of it. That's kind of where it began.
I actually still remember the phone call I got from you. It was like a late Friday afternoon, and I was in the office actually, crunching through a little bit of leftover work, and you gave me a call, and you just hit me with like, dude, I think I've got the one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like it was yesterday. It was probably like an hour-long phone call actually.
Yeah.
And you were just running through all these different scenarios and why it makes sense. And, I fell in love with the idea as soon as you told me. And then, lo and behold, a couple months later, the entire idea just pivoted and we started doing something.
Yeah, that idea that I brought to you, that was the one. It just wasn't the one.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's how startups go, is you have an idea, and the same idea is still carried today.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a startup, we just pivoted so many times, and so that was 2 years ago. And it wasn't until just a few months ago, February of this year, when we really pivoted and found the best product market fit.
Yep.
So that's what we're doing right now, and we're just super excited to.
Yeah. I feel like we definitely have seen the most traction.
Yeah.
Obviously, since starting 2 years ago, since this past February when we started our current business model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were all blown away by how much different and more successful it's been in such a short period of time.
And just for anyone that doesn't know, is the original idea was kind of like an Uber business model, or how you can rent some of those scooters on the street and ride around town, and you pay for however many minutes you use it or miles you use it. It was kind of similar to that, where we wanted people to download an app on their phone and speak with a financial advisor for however long they wanted to, and just pay by the minute. So just pay for the time they needed. And it was a very different idea, and I think that was our weakness in the beginning, is that people just didn't understand that, and we didn't do the best job maybe, or we didn't try every idea of explaining that idea to people. But that was the hardest part, is getting people to understand it, use it. And we've pivoted, and now we offer we kind of scratched the idea, at least for the time being, of an app on your smartphone. But people, we found, would rather speak about their finances on their laptop or computer. So everything, our service is available through our website. And then you kind of just answer a few questions and schedule a call, and it's completely free. So we don't even charge people to speak with these financial advisors now. Yep. And that's what we found works the best, and kind of what we're doing right now.
So like when you started off in your new job out of MSU, you moved to Chicago.
Yep.
You basically started to begin your life, you begin your career. And then so when Brent gave you that phone call, were you kind of taken back by that? Were you kind of confused as to what decision you should make moving forward? Or were you just instantly like, okay, yep, I'm leaving this, I'm jumping into Money Pickle, this is where I want to put my time and effort?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I actually didn't jump in right away. It was something that I was working on in my free time. Brent was more so all in to begin with. But I was still working full time in commercial real estate. And then, after work, whenever I would finish things up, it would be Colin, Brent, and I on maybe a Zoom call or a FaceTime. And that's when we would spend our free time, is thinking about Money Pickle and what is it going to look like. And these are obviously the early days.
Oh yeah.
It was somewhere around 6 to 8 months before I actually did make that full-time commitment and left my full-time job that was in Chicago. I still do currently live there, but yeah, it was about 6 to 8 months before I did make that leap and went full-time into Money Pickle. And now it's that we dedicate all our hours to it.
Every memory I have of us working on it in the early days, it was it felt like the middle of the night, and it's because we would work on it right after you and Colin got out of work. We'd all hop on a FaceTime, and the FaceTimes would last anywhere between 4 and 10 hours or whatever. Yeah. And I just remember working pretty late into the night throughout the week with you guys, getting not that much sleep. That's just because we were obsessed with it, and that was the only free time we had, and our schedules all aligned. Yep. So, but yeah, it was nice when you decided to come full time. I still have the video on my phone of it was actually Nick. We were on FaceTime, and he clicked the send button to his boss to quit, and that was just an exciting. I recorded it. And
was it a 2 weeks notice, or was it just like, hey, I'm done?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 week notice. It's just the professional way to do it. But
you never know.
Yeah, that was exciting. That was a big leap.
It was. Yeah, it was. It took a lot of courage to press that send button. I remember, it took a while. I had it typed up, because I loved what I was doing. Everything was awesome. It was, the direction, the path I was planning on going in. I love real estate in general, but I just saw so much opportunity. I have the entrepreneurism in me. I know Brent does as well. We just wanted to build something of our own, and this was something that is going to work and is working already. So, it was just so exciting with all the opportunity that was ahead of us. It was almost like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and we get that reassurance from the people who use Money Pickle.
Yep.
That's how we know that it works, is because people tell us, like, how has this not existed before, or this is just incredible, and just a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we feed off of, is feedback, and then we change stuff to make it better, and then more feedback. And yeah, I think we found something that helps a lot of people.
Yeah, and not to mention, it's very rewarding knowing that we're helping, all these people that are calling in. And the more that we see that growth of callers coming in, it's just like we recognize that we're helping more and more people on a daily basis, whereas there's, historically been a ton of people that have gone without insight and tips and what should I do in this situation compared to this. Now there's like a resource available to a lot of people that didn't have that.
Yeah. It seemed divided before, where it was either you had a financial advisor, and that was kind of the people that had a lot of money.
Yep.
So you either had a lot of money and had that financial advisor, or you kind of do it yourself. You might Google stuff, you might YouTube stuff, or just ask friends. And we're kind of in that middle ground where you can speak with a financial advisor. You don't have to feel obligated to hire them.
Right.
But you can go to moneypickle.com. You can schedule a free call with a financial advisor. No obligation, no charge. That's just what it is. So it's like kind of like talking to a friend.
Yeah.
But that friend happens to be a financial advisor.
Right. And, if you are a do-it-yourselfer, there's no problem with speaking with a financial advisor and just making sure everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Making sure that all the options are on the table that you're aware of, obviously. And, as Brent had mentioned, there's no obligations.
Right.
You just have a conversation.
Yeah, that's what we've noticed a lot is people don't necessarily call in with a burning question they have.
Right.
But a lot of people call in and just explain their situation for 15 or 20 minutes. And then they kind of just get to pick the brain of a financial advisor, get to hear what they would do if they were you, kind of explore all your different options, and maybe even share some other stories or success stories of people similar to the situation you're in, and kind of just hear the outcome of it and hear different options of things you can do. So,
and it's interesting because a lot of these people that are do-it-yourselfers and call in actually sometimes end up hiring financial advisors, and they actually end up having money management from an outside party.
Yeah, they don't realize that they want to hire a financial advisor. It's never been an option for them or something that they were interested in, but they speak with someone on Money Pickle, and then we've seen a lot of relationships start that way, and then they hire that financial advisor.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that's one thing that's been cool about my position, just because I work directly with all the pickle pros, so I kind of get to hear about their experiences and put it into consideration when we're moving forward. When these callers come in, I'm like, okay, this person likes working with these kind of people, this person likes working with these kind of people, and that's been super cool. And going off to way back in beginning of last year, when Brent first ran the idea of Money Pickle by me, because you guys were both starting your careers. I was finishing out my career at CMU, and I think it was over Christmas break. I was home, and Brent and I went out to go get a drink and some food, and he ran Money Pickle by me. I think so. This is clearly after you guys spoke about it, because Money Pickle was the name of it. And he kind of explained that $1.50 a minute or $1 a minute, and it's a way to speak to a financial advisor about whatever it is, whether being a student, how do I tackle my student debt when I get out, how do I go about building credit, how do I go about getting a house or rent, so on and so forth, all your expenses, balancing that budget and balancing saving and investing, all those different ideas. And I thought that was a great idea because that's something I would utilize. So being able to work for a company like that that's able to benefit thousands, tens of thousands, if not millions of people someday, to where they can have this tool, this financial help desk that's right at your fingertips, on your phone, on your desktop. There's so many different ways of accessing it, and it's awesome.
And that's kind of the beauty of it is you were just coming out of Central Michigan, and you're like your situation is so much different than someone that, might be 30 years old or might be 40 or 50 or 60. And that's why having a resource like Money Pickle where you can speak with a financial advisor is so important, because you could meet with a group of 10 other people and they could be in a completely different situation than you are.
100%.
So,
yeah.
How does it make sense to go on Google and try to get a very, I guess,
tailored,
personalized. Like, how can you go on Google and look something up that best fits your situation, and your goals, and what you're looking to achieve, if it's not personalized to you?
You can't.
Yeah,
there's also a lot of
idea.
emotion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotion that goes into these conversations.
Absolutely.
Interests, differing interests of situation. It's something that you can't Google. You can't YouTube it.
Well, it's the emotion. It's also you're building a relationship, because I mean, some of these people that call in, they enjoy their experience so much that they continue to work with those advisors and those pickle pros outside of our platform, which has been super cool to see, because it proves that what we're doing is a right thing. It's a valuable thing, and people enjoy it, whether it's the advisors speaking and helping, or if it's the callers getting their problem solved. And it could be And the thing is some people find speaking to a financial advisor scary, because they think, they just want my money. That's it. But
or that you might even ask a bad question.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just super cool, because those advisors, I mean, they went to school for it. They went into finance. They spent tens of thousands of dollars on the education to be able to help people with their money.
Yeah.
And they've heard it all before.
Yep.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Right.
There's no situation or question that you can ask that's something that they haven't heard before.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no intimidation there shouldn't be any intimidation when calling Money Pickle at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a mascot pickle.
Yeah. I mean, we're not called
hat
black
and
and white
sunglasses.
finance.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's Money Pickle. Everyone loves pickles except for me,
Yeah.
ironically.
Yeah.
But
Love 'em.
we ordered a big old pickle mascot that we've all put on and
Dilly.
sweated in.
Holy
Yeah.
moly. Yeah, that was my first week on the job at Sherman, New Orleans. We're running around this massive building.
Yeah.
Walking damn near 2 miles in there in a gigantic dill pickle with a top hat, sunglasses.
Yeah, it's almost like a sleeping bag. You just throw it on yourself with some eye holes, and then you run around in a sweaty convention.
And-
not to mention it was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Peak summertime.
Yeah,
So
real
So
feel,
hot.
110 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
no
brutal.
wind.
no,
And
it was hot.
Yeah.
And one thing that's funny is that that pickle is massive.
Yeah.
It's
Especially with
huge.
you in it.
And I'm also massive. So I was
6'10".
like, I'm 6'10", and then that pickle is probably 2 feet above me,
Yeah.
the top of it at least.
Yeah.
So it's just an 8 foot 10, 8.5 feet dill pickle running around a gigantic warehouse with
Right.
a bunch of companies.
And
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad
just-
this actually came up, because, people hear the name Money Pickle and it's kind of it sounds funny, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the play on words we went for, is we don't want it to feel intimidating. Speak with a financial advisor when you're in a money pickle.
Or to avoid money pickles.
Yeah, or avoid a money pickle.
Mhm.
Speak with an advisor. Like, it's just supposed to be a resource that's convenient for you, not intimidating, and it's just like you speak about the questions that you have.
But now that I think about it, I feel like a 7'3" pickle running at me at a convention center might be a little intimidating.
Might be.
A little bit.
I'm
Yeah.
relatively nice. I wasn't too mean to people.
No.
I mean, I was nice, I think.
No, the lights were on and it wasn't that scary. So
Yeah.
If the lights were off, it would have
the
been
lights were
terrifying.
off.
It would have been the boogeyman.
Would have felt like a horror movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that would have been brutal. It's so funny. And another thing I want to get at with these pickle pros is it's not like they're all just super old guys that aren't
Right.
having fun at their job anymore.
Right.
We have some that are recently registered. They've been in the job for a year, that speak to people that are just getting out into the world.
Yeah, we
And-
match people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and and then we have people that have been in the job for 30 years.
Yeah.
So we have people that have seen every single aspect of, or at least most, I'd say, of financial situations, from people that have tens of millions to people that have $100,000 in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And we have pickle pros that specialize in specific areas
Yeah.
of personal finance too. So, you're getting some of the best help you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
For free.
When we were talking about matching, it's because when you sign up on Money Pickle, or when you're scheduling a call on Money Pickle, it's important to answer those questions prior to scheduling a call, because that helps us be able to match you with a financial expert that can best answer your question and speak to you about your situation.
Yeah. And when these advisors, it's not like we're just taking anyone that's random. We want people that are speaking to these callers to be passionate about it. That they get the satisfaction of helping someone, making someone's day better, making someone's life better potentially.
And they're all fiduciaries.
They're all FINRA, SEC registered.
Work in your best interest.
These are legitimate, passionate financial advisors that are out for the country's best interest, I should say. Yeah. And that's a bold statement, but I mean it.
Yeah, I mean, they're fiduciaries, which is exactly what it means. You can't wiggle around that word at all. That's what they are, fiduciaries, which means they are legally obligated to work in your best interest.
Yep.
Yes. And one thing I wanted to ask you guys is what separates, I kind of have an idea in my head, but what separates Money Pickle from these other financial services out there, these other financial websites? Like why should someone, search up, I need financial help, and they see Money Pickle? Why should they pick Money Pickle over these other ones?
Yeah, I mean, luckily there are a bunch of financial education tools out there, and the ones that exist right now are, apps that you can download on your phone where you plug in a whole bunch of different numbers and kind of budgeting tools, and those are all great, but a lot of people kind of avoid, there's a big group of people that avoid using those apps. And, maybe they're not tech savvy enough, or it's just not right for them. But I know with Money Pickle, is from personal experience, I found that I benefited the most by just speaking with someone. And there was no tool to speak with a financial advisor that wouldn't, break my bank or break my wallet.
Yeah. And the, kind of goes off of what Brent just said. The human to human aspect of it. I know Cam had mentioned emotion earlier. There's so much emotion when it comes to your finances. A lot of people react differently to situations. So you're not so much focused on plugging in the right stuff into some sort of technology, like a budgeting app, for example. Like, this is real time speaking with another person that is experienced and just bouncing ideas off each other. If I spend more this month, how much should I save next month? It's like you can talk about relatively anything that comes to your mind and have that experienced financial advisor, that human, understand what's going on and how important something might be to you.
Yeah, so, and the thing I was going to say about us is it's not a tedious experience.
No.
It's seriously, you just go to the website, you just type in what you want the advisor to know, your name, and that's it.
We wanted it to be, that simple, that straightforward. It shouldn't be complicated like your finances. It should just be, you want to go and speak with someone about your situation. So you go to Money Pickle, you type in what you want to know, and then boom, you connect with a financial advisor where you can just talk about your situation.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And not to mention, this was talked about earlier, you don't even need to have a specific question.
Right.
Just hop on and, have some sort of debrief about your situation, and maybe something can come up that you want to fix or something that should be tended to. It really just...
Yeah, something that you might not have even known about before.
Yeah.
Gets brought up.
Yeah. And you would never know that if you were a full-time do-it-yourselfer.
Yeah.
And more people actually spend time planning their Thanksgiving dinner than they do worrying about their finances every year. So my recommendation, and I know you guys probably agree, is, you should at least spend that much time, if not more, planning your finances that year. Even if you're on the right track and you're comfortable and confident in your situation, it doesn't hurt to speak with a financial advisor, have that conversation once, maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. There's just from working and not even Money Pickle, but just this industry, there is so much I wish I would have known when I was in college. The things that could have set me off on a way better start to being financially independent.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to be financially dependent the next couple of years, but just making smarter investment decisions, saving decisions, and then not, just spending money I didn't have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels a lot better to be
Oh my God.
proactive than reactive about your money.
It's honestly, it's not even funny. It's just crazy how much Money Pickle could have benefited me from knowing things I know now.
And
in college.
you're still young. We're all still young. I mean, this is a great resource for people. Obviously, the sooner you start, the better. But it's never too late to speak.
Yeah,
about your
no, never.
finances.
We've had people call in that are over 70 years old, and we've also had people call in that are 20.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
I couldn't even imagine, being 35 years old and not really having a resource to go to where you have children, you have, built up retirement accounts, and maybe you're looking to get to the real estate game, or you're thinking about insurances and what's right for you. I personally feel like I would panic. I don't know
Or
what
just
is
push
best
it off.
for me. Yeah.
Just not even think about it. Push it off.
Like, what is best for me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know. So that's why I feel like that's just like a leg up.
And we kind of sculpted Money Pickle to be, we think about our mothers, our friends, what would they want, what resource would they want to speak about their finances? And that's kind of how we designed the service, is like, what would be the most convenient for the people that we care about.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've developed.
I think kind of going off of the sculpting Money Pickle, one thing that I always look back on is, when you first start a sculpture and you're first chipping away, it starts off ugly. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so fun to see how far Money Pickle has come.
Oh, yeah. It was ugly.
There is times where I sit there and I'm just scratching my head like, what were we thinking?
Yeah.
Like, how did we think that was going to work? And it's so cool to see like where it was to what we are now and how cool it is.
Yeah.
And we'll probably look back in a year from now and be like, why didn't we do that
Be
sooner?
something completely
it's just
different.
so crazy.
We'll be better. 1 month of working for a startup feels like 10 years.
Oh my God. I remember especially the end of last year into early this year, I probably a million things changed.
Yeah.
It's just
something changes every day.
all for the better.
Yes.
And then we have a couple mentors that we speak to, and it's just they told us in the beginning, you're going to pay stupid taxes.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be things you're going to think that are wonderful, and then months later it's like, okay, that was a stupid tax, but you learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
You learn from negative things. You learn from things that failures.
Mm-hmm.
We've
You learn
learned
from
way
failures.
more from our failures than we have our
By far.
successes.
And that, yeah,
By far.
it's not even a question. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, sculpting Money Pickle has been an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And it's
actually-
cool to be a part of it.
I'm actually kind of curious, Brent. What do you think was our most successful pivot, and why?
Good question.
I think, we had the technology built where people could do this, but the toughest part for us that took us the longest to figure out is how we display the messaging and how we get that message out there to people. Mm-hmm. And so we tried to figure out where these people look on the internet for us to be able to show what Money Pickle is, and we posted it in all the wrong areas. We found every place where these people don't hang out or don't listen to our messaging. Mm-hmm. So in the most recent months, we found the best messaging for Money Pickle. What exactly is it? It's hard to explain what Money Pickle is in a sentence, in a short amount of time.
Definitely.
So that was the pivot we made a few months ago, was figuring out the messaging and getting people to find out about it. And this podcast definitely helps a lot with that, is being able to describe it, in more detail than just an advertisement.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I wanted to get both of you on here at the same time, including myself, is to be able to, like, what is Money Pickle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What does Money Pickle do? What does Money Pickle portray? What is Money Pickle?
Mm-hmm.
And that's been cool to be able to have both of you on and have Nick in from Chicago. Next thing, we got to get Colin in here one day, because he loves talking to people. Huge social guy. So we got to get him out here and talk
the best
more.
Dilly.
Yeah.
Pickle.
Yeah,
Money
he
Pickle
loves
costume
being
guy.
Yeah, he loves being Dilly, but he's
brilliant.
He is one of the smartest people.
Yeah.
He's our
I've
tech
met.
guy.
Yeah,
He's
guy.
very, very tech savvy.
Yeah. He's Bob the Builder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We think of something, Colin can build it.
Oh
Yeah.
my Lord, we've sent Colin well over 100 different things, like suggestions or things that he could fix.
Yeah.
Gets them done.
And he went to school for economics. He's just self-taught.
Yep.
And we've hired like out-of-house developers, app developers, website designers, and stuff like that. Colin is still just a way better option. I mean, he just understands how we think, and he can figure it out and create it for us.
Yeah.
It's just,
I feel like he has that creative mindset,
Yeah.
but he can build as well. I feel like a
100%.
lot of developers might not have both, and Colin does. So
Yeah.
that's why it helps out a ton.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's times we'll get text messages or emails or something from Colin at like 4 o'clock in the morning, like, "Hey, just fix this up." Like he just loves it. He loves working
Yeah,
on the
he's a
tech, and it's
trooper.
just super cool.
Yeah, he's a trooper.
That's great. So before we wrap this up, I just one more question for you both. You guys can each answer it. Moving forward, what's something that really just excites you about Money Pickle, or something with Money Pickle that's going to be new?
Yeah.
So
I mean, personally, the month-over-month growth, I feel like, we're seeing a steady incline, and it's going to be very cool 6 months from now to see how many people are calling in on Money Pickle, and what that number might look like from right now to then. How many times over is that going to multiply?
100%. Well, look at a month ago, like how much we've grown in a month. Like
Right.
6 months.
It's very cool. I feel like people are definitely catching on to how important it is to get ahead of
100%.
your finances, and that is what is most important to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Brent?
personally, I mean, just full transparency, I mean, we totally underestimated how awful the financial industry is.
Oh yeah.
I'm just talking about like from a regulation standpoint, it is brutal. More than, if we had known about it before starting it, it definitely would have been a barrier to entry for us. But what excites me the most is that we are on the final stretch of some of these
tedious tasks.
Yeah, just these things that we have to do in order to be Money Pickle and be compliant and stuff like that. So we are on the home stretch of that, and I just can't wait to have that kind of figured out and settled.
It's be a big weight off the shoulders.
It's like
that's what it is.
It's like winning like an uphill battle, coming out victorious of an uphill battle.
And it's not a bad thing that financial services is so.
No, it needs to be. We just didn't know that it was to the extent it is.
Well, that's one of those taxes we paid.
Yeah, and we jumped head first, not knowing that that's going to happen, and it happened. But
fresh out of college with 3 months of real world experience.
It's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is. It's super cool. Well, anyways, thank you, Nick Young.
Yep.
Thank you, Brent Thurman.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Cam.